Hi, Janelle here with Sheep Hill Herbs. Welcome to my channel. I'm an artist and an herbalist, which basically means I'm a creative person and I love plants. So I began a series of videos based on the book, The Artist's Way. Whoops, turn it around. The Artist's Way. And I really felt called into a season where I'm bringing out my artist self again. I completed this book 4 or 5 years ago, and I guess I should back up. Originally, almost 20 years ago, maybe less than that, when I was in college, I was an art minor. Then I became, I had two majors, anthropology and art education. And I became an art teacher, and I spent a lot of time in the studio making art, selling art, and very prolific as an artist. And then after a very painful breakup, I went into artist block for, I hate to say it, nearly a decade. And in that time, there's a lot of other creations happening. I had my children. So when I did this book about 4 or 5 years ago, I unblocked myself. Subsequently, I got blocked again. Oh my goodness, how can that happen? Well, I guess life can be busy, and if you really don't commit yourself to some of the principles in this book and the steps that you're asked to follow, it can happen really easily. So what I did not do was stick with the morning pages, and I did not stick with the artist state, which are the two premise components before beginning the 12 weeks of lessons. So watch my two videos, the one on artist state and the one on the morning pages, and you can rewatch them because those two pieces are what I was not consistent with. And when I went into some slumps or some times of busyness and friction and upheaval, if I would have continued with those two things, I wouldn't have found myself blocked up again. And thankfully, because this is something I did before, without going through the whole book, I knew the tricks and the little things, brought it all together, and I'm making art again, which feels so good. All right. I wanted to do a video before each chapter and after each chapter so that I can kind of encourage you into the first steps of the chapter, and then also after the chapter's over to kind of summarize how that chapter went. Title for chapter 1 is called Recovering a Sense of Safety, and that is the premise for this week. And I'll just read the little blurb here. It says, this week initiates your creative recovery. You may feel both giddy, hopeful, and skeptical. The readings, tasks, and exercises aimed at allowing you to establish a sense of safety, which will enable you to explore your creativity with less fear. In this first chapter, you're going to probably meet some of the blockages, some of the things that are keeping you from making art. One, for me, a big one is the financial piece. I have ingrained in my head, the term starving artist. That's what my dad used to say. He loved art and he loves artists, but he would say, starving artist, you should be a teacher. That's why I went for art education, and I didn't go just to be an artist. And I kind of learned that mantra in art school. Everyone was saying that in art school, you're going to need to get a waitressing job or another job or a side job. And it wasn't until I started really listening to Jake Ducey and some different thought leaders that I began to believe that is not a belief that you have to hold on to. In this first chapter, you are going to look at the statements, the beliefs, the things that are keeping you in a fear place and in a place of blockage. And you'll be writing lists. You'll be doing a number of exercises. Just go with it. Don't worry about being perfect. And just let those uncomfortable feelings come up, because you probably will have some uncomfortable feelings as you press against beliefs that are holding you stuck. The point of this video is to give you some pointers before you do week 1. I would set aside at least 2 hours to do these tasks. Now, you might want to break that up into different blocks of time, but I think you need at least 2 hours. You also want to remember you're doing your morning pages every day and scheduling an artist date. There are numerous affirmations that you will write and say to yourself. I am willing to create. I am willing to experience my creative energy. I'm willing to use my creative talents. And as you say and write these, you might find resistance, but just say and write it anyway. And you want to get to a place where you really feel it and believe it. And if you're like me, being an artist, being visual, drawing pictures or cutting out pictures or using some kind of visual imagery helps with the excitement factor, helps with the imprinting on your subconscious mind versus just saying words. If you have any creative thoughts as to putting these statements down, just go with it. Then there are a lot of different exercises to pick from. There are 10 here. I think the first time I went through this book, I did not do all 10. And I want to recommend that you do every single one. You will have more lasting, I don't want to say recovery, but I guess recovery or recovering the artist within if you do every single thing in this book. And I guess I just am trying to emphasize that you can do it. It might be hard. It might take you more than 2 hours, but really try to make that commitment, especially if you're so eager to be that artist. And I want to just say that this book, like I mentioned before, less than $20. You could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on classes that help you become an artist or bring about that creative self. You can do it with this book, and you can do it with my videos. I want to ask you to please stay and watch my commercial that is next. It is about 3 books that I self-published during a very creative part of my life a few years ago when I had just gone through this book the first time, and purchasing books that I wrote, going to my Etsy shop, checking the links in my description. All these things help me publish free videos, which I really, really, really like sharing free content with people, because I know what it's like to want good teaching, but not having the budget for it as of yet. So please stay, check out my commercial, and thanks. Come again, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, comment down below, let me know you were here, and especially if you made it to the end, which this is. So before you head out, I want to share with you 3 books I've self-published. They are listed in the description down below, and you can link over. They are on Amazon, so check them out. I have a booklet. This is my all you need to know about making herbal tea. It's a great beginner guide. It is about making herbal tea with leaves and flower parts, and it's perfect. It's gonna get you started on herbal teas. Then I also have my children's book, The Story of the Gluten-Free Kid. This was written by me and illustrated with the help of my kids, and perfect for anybody who has any gluten-free kids. A really fun story that will help them not feel so alone. And then the third book is my Mommy and Me journaling activities for love and serenity, and art journaling activities, I should have said. This is to be done with an art journal or an art notebook, and it is basically activities. So you have the still life activity, you have the doodle activity, you have, it's called the I am activity. So my 3 books on Amazon. Link from the description. Help me out. Thanks so much.